It was July of 1997, almost 20 years ago, and I was sitting across from my new manager, Scott, and I was nervous. After a long pause, I finally spoke. I have some great news to share, and I need your help. I'm going to be a mother in a few months. My partner, Cindy, is pregnant with our child. I don't know how many people in our business will react, or I don't know how they'll react, and I don't know how they'll behave towards me when they learn that I'm gay and I'm expecting a child. Without hesitation, Scott said, "Congratulations, because there is no greater joy and no greater honor than being a parent. And if anyone, I mean anyone, gives you a problem, come to me, I will take care of it. You have my full support." Instantly, I was out of the corporate closet. I was relieved and I was afraid. I felt free. But most of all, I felt proud. Cindy and I had made the choice to live free and open. I did not want shame to become a part of my character or my feelings about self. I chose, and we chose, to be authentic and to live authentically. Our children would not learn shame from us. I didn't decide to be gay. I met my life partner, Cindy, in 1981 at the University of Michigan in the United States. I didn't plan to fall in love. I met and I fell in love with an amazing human being. And I also discovered a part of my identity which I had suspected but not yet embraced. But love changed that for me. We did decide to have children, and we decided to be parents. In the 1990s, that was not an easy road to take, but it was something very important to us. You see, I had dreamed of having children my entire life, and so I wanted the joy of parenting and to share that joy of parenting with Cindy. I wanted to be a parent that my children would be proud to call mom, and I couldn't let fear control my life. I never wanted fear to be a factor in their lives. It was then the process of becoming a parent that took me on a journey of living life as my true and whole self. By coming out that summer of 1997, we were choosing to live our lives openly, freely, and completely, authentically. I don't think there is a best way out. Being out to me is as individual as our fingerprints are. We each have a way that works for us, and it reflects our individual uniqueness. But I do strongly believe that no matter how each of us defines our best selves, I really believe that it's imperative to be true to ourselves and to reflect in our words, our actions, and our way of life. To reflect our true self, which is our authentic self. To me, it's about self-love and self-respect. We cannot love another until we love ourselves. We cannot build a relationship of respect until we truly respect and accept ourselves. Now, you may be thinking that my only motivation for coming out was to be a good parent. In fact, what was true for me is true for all of us. The impact that we each have on other human beings and communities is significant. I believe that we each have a responsibility to help lift those around us, to teach and to nurture each other, to show others what's possible. And a choice to stay in the closet costs us our freedom to be. While being a good parent was indeed important to me, it was simply the catalyst to take the step that I had been wanting to take, to free myself and to, by example, to help free those around me. I have chosen to live a full life, a happy life. I live authentically. And despite obstacles and hearts with what I thought others expected of me, I wanted to be good. I wanted to be perfect. But the images that I saw around me and the judgment that I heard from family, from friends, and from religion told me that being gay was less than. In effect, they told me that I was less than. It was somewhere in my 20s or 30s that I came to terms with that aspect of my identity, that I was a lesbian. I was comfortable with me. I was overwhelmed with the fear of being judged harshly, being judged negatively, being judged as less than. And these fears did become reality at many junctures in my life. Like many LGBT people, I did suffer under the judgment. and misguided prejudice of friends, family, and coworkers. You see, I believe that all of us have been taught falsehoods that it's time to leave behind, and we need to unlearn. But today, as a leader, as a humanist, my motivation is to open hearts and minds. My stories are very personal to me in my life. The lessons are universal. I share my story openly and frequently in many places in the world, because now is also a very important moment, I think, in our history to remind ourselves of the importance of coming together. That's one of the reasons that I believe so strongly in authenticity, because it's authenticity that creates the possibility of true connection between human beings. I am here for many reasons. But I'm here because I have received strong support and love from many people along my journey. And I know that's not true for everyone. I've been given space, and I've been given a stage to share messages and insights. And I've been given words that I hope will inspire and heal and build bridges for people. You know, I'm really fortunate to work for a company that is committed to having all of our employees feel valued and be valued in their full range of diversity. I'm very proud to work for the Procter & Gamble. I'm also here today because I believe that we share a responsibility to help others along their journey, to experience the joy and the reward that comes from living authentically. Together, as an LGBTQ community, supported by our allies, we have a tremendous opportunity to shape our communities, the places we work, to be more welcoming, to be more loving, so that more of us can be our true and authentic selves. We have made a lot of progress as a society and as a world, and I'm here in Madrid to celebrate that. And it's so fun to be here to celebrate with all of you. But I'm also here because we have such a long way to go in many ways. And so I want to share a few statistics. On the positive side, marriage equality is real for 22 countries, including my own country, the United States. 89% of Fortune 500 companies prohibit discrimination based on sexual orientation. And in May of this year, Taiwan became Asia's first country to legalize same-sex marriage. There's still more work to do. Over half of LGBT employees hide their sexual orientation in the workplace. That statistic varies by place in the world, but I will tell you that's true at the Procter & Gamble Corporation, despite all the things that we do. Between 20 to 25% of LGBT people experience a hate crime in their lives. 20 to 25% of us. And a quarter of all LGBT employees hear derogatory jokes or negative comments on a frequent basis. In 28 of the 50 United States, an individual can be fired for being gay or lesbian. That's 28 of the 50 states in the United States. Those laws have been separate and distinct from others, and it's still true. On the personal level, most of us, if not all of us, have experienced a level of rejection or judgment that has left us with emotional wounds. It breaks my heart to know that every day there's an LGBTQ teenager somewhere in the world that's asking themselves if life is worth living. And I feel it's my responsibility and our responsibility to give them hope, and to give them the confidence that their life is worth living. And there's a lot of good in life. So why should we care? Well, when people take energy to hide who they are or how they live their life, we waste so much time. We waste energy and we waste capability. We miss relationships, we miss connection, we miss creating something together. And all of that translates to immense loss. So why do we have these statistics? Why do we choose to hide? Well, because we live in a world that tells us we are less than. We aren't due the same privileges or respect as straight people. And somehow we just need to settle for what we get, even if it is less than. I decided a long time ago that that wasn't okay with me, that I was going to live a full life, no matter how uncomfortable it made other people around me feel. And I do wish the same for everyone, even for those who don't understand me or don't understand us. I decided that the best way out was to be out for me, was to be out through authenticity. This choice allows me to live the life that I was meant to live. It also enables me to have greater impact on those around me. I really do have a personal belief that the differences among us bring the richness to life. It's easy to accept and love people who look like you, who act like you. It's the differences that challenge and develop our ability to truly connect with other human beings. Differences require us to accept people for who they are, not who we want them to be. Sharing your stories and being authentic helps others around you to build empathy, understanding, and acceptance. And I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to share your story. It's easy to accept and celebrate the differences around us when we understand that we have so many shared similarities. For me, sharing that I was going to be a mother at work in 1997 helped people identify with me on a different level and created a bond about the shared joys, hopes, and fears that come with being a parent. In addition, authentically sharing our relationship with Cindy's mother, this is my partner Cindy's mother, Alice Martin. She'd be mortified if she knew I had a picture up there. Built a deeper connection between the three of us because we had a shared love. Cindy's mother was always accepting and loving towards us and our family of 5. I wrote this poem in honor of her, and I'd like to share it with you. And it's titled, No Blanks, No Pauses. You know, we don't usually get the privilege of a title or a label that includes or embraces us. We get the pause and the blanks. This is Cindy and Shelly. It's a kind of pause that forces the listener to wonder who I am and how I fit in. But the truth usually settles in when they see me with my partner and our kids. But that all changed one rainy day in May. Sweet, loving, 86-year-old Alice Marsden introduced me to a neighbor. And she said, "This is my daughter-in-law, Shelly." There were no blanks. There were no pauses. There was only love and genuine acknowledgement of who I was to her. There were no blanks. There were no pauses. You know, this wonderful moment happened in 2005 when Cindy's then 86-year-old mother was the first person ever to introduce me properly. The first person ever. It was a very touching moment. It was particularly meaningful back in 2005 because then we couldn't legally marry in the United States. We were both legal parents of our own children, but the laws governing marriage are different and separate from the laws governing parenting. We weren't married, but she was reflecting her love for me and for us as a couple. But she didn't need a law to properly define our relationship, because to her, I was her daughter-in-law. But the laws and the courts would catch up to Alice Marsden later on. But it's moments like these that give me hope. In the summer of 2014, after 30 years and 3 daughters, Cindy and I were officially married. There was no one happier than Alice Marsden. My mother-in-law passed away last summer at the age of 97, and she was the model of love and support. So what am I asking you to do? That's what Alice Marsden did. What am I asking you to do? Well, for those of you who identify as LGBTQ, I'm asking you and encouraging you to live authentically. I'm encouraging you to live true to who you are, and don't hide, don't apologize to anyone. Make choices. Make choices that are consistent with who you are and what you want out of life. Don't give away your power to choose, and don't give away your power, period. And third, please don't accept less than. Those of us who are LGBTQ, we know what it feels like to be treated as less than and to be given less than. And I'm encouraging you to expect and demand the same privileges as those who are straight, with no blanks and no pauses. But to our straight friends and allies in the room, I'm going to encourage you to do a couple of things. I want you to learn more about who we are and where we are in our current struggles. We have some that may be different than yours, and some may be the same. Ask us about our lives. Our challenges aren't necessarily more difficult. Our lives aren't necessarily more interesting. but I ask you to reach across and connect. And secondly, share your privileges and proactively work the barriers on our behalf. I really do believe that when we work to ensure that all of us get the same privileges, it doesn't mean less than for anyone, it means more for all. I want to conclude with a poem that I wrote in honor of our 3 daughters, Allie, Kate, and Nicole. And I titled this, "You Have Been Chosen." The day will come and the moment will pass when you will be called out as different in a way that says less or less than. We will be waiting to step in, to give you the love, and remind you of the reason that God made you special and gave you 2 moms. He called you to teach, love one another, not one but all. You are the chosen teachers, and we are the committed parents. We're always there to remind you why you have been chosen to lead. And tonight, I invite all of you to lead, and I thank you for listening.